brought him to a freezing cold waterfall.
Takigyo, yeah. Takigyo, yeah.
Takigyo. And he had to jump in this freezing waterfall in order to cleanse his spirit, his soul, and obviously wake up his energy.
More you learn about the language, more you speak.
Sure.
That's it.
You make mistakes, you learn what to say, what not to say.
But as I learning like 5 languages, I started to understand that my brain functions differently. Tony's case, well, we started like when he was not that famous. We didn't have any budget. He calls me and then I say, "Oh, don't come to Obon holiday. It's a spiritual holiday. Everything expensive. All the traffic is, crazy." And then, but then said, no, it's only time that we can do. Okay, then let's do Obon. When the kids are so young, like 16, 17, before they create their own sense of value so firmly, they should know about the different cultures so that they can respect. The camera stopped, and then the helicopter started sounding weird. Middle of nowhere in the jungle. We stopping above one huge stone in the huge Amazon jungle.
Oh my God.
And then we lost connection.
The early days of Anthony Bourdain, like maybe there wasn't even Google. It was.
True. My health is not that tuned if I don't make prayers.
Or the ladies in your family had actually influenced the men to change their last names to your last name.
In order to succeed my family name, we ask the boy to change their name into ours. The groom.
Then we took a bus ride down the mountain all the way back to Shanghai and spoke for 6 hours.
Yes.
Yeah, my ex-girlfriend was super upset. I'm just kidding. Well, she was. Somebody lit on fire. Like they use a lighter or gas or something, and the huge pile of trash started burning right behind the mayor on live TV. Is there a limit on how free a spirit can be? Are we confined between the guardrails of our parents' genetics and their nurture? Many times, when a spirit is too curious to stay within its own 4 walls, it ventures to other cities, to other countries, to other continents, and even to other altitudes, while in search of deeper understanding and connection with the world. Through culture, through language, food, storytelling, and shared experiences. In today's episode, I am honored to share an hour of that free spirit who has leapt boundaries to become an in-demand producer for on-screen household names such as Anthony Bourdain, Jackie Chan, the BBC, and 2 times at the Olympic Games in Japan. This is my Upgrade Me interview with Michiko Zentoh. If you enjoyed today's episode, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. Connect with us in the comments and on your favorite platforms to stream audio and video. We've also got a Patreon page, links in the description, where you can subscribe to, support creation, and receive that exclusive content and merch. You won't regret it. Michiko Zentoh, thank you for being here today on Upgrade Me. We've had such an amazing journey as friends and as colleagues. I'm always happy that you're open to adventure in your life. We actually met while we were on top of a mountain in China. It's hard to believe that a couple years ago, about 3-4 years ago now, we were at the top of a mountain in Moganshan outside of Hangzhou, China, at a Scottish castle that was reproduced recently and resurrected. We did a concert there and we celebrated the union of 2 of our very close friends. And then we took a bus ride down the mountain all the way back to Shanghai and spoke for maybe nearly 4 hours in traffic.
I think 6 hours.
6 hours?
Yes.
Yeah, my ex-girlfriend was super upset. I'm just kidding. Well, she was. But ever since then, I knew that we had a special connection, both being creative people, being adventurers, and so it's a pleasure to have you here today. Thanks for coming.
ありがとうございます。
So Zentoh is a very rare name for a family, especially in Japan. So can you talk about where your family and the origin comes from?
Yes, it's been said that my family Zentoh has been living in the same location, Nishinomiya, Hyogo Prefecture, Japan, for over 400 years. as much as we can trace back.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to be much from much earlier time, but we can have the record that's it's written, and it's been 400 years. Same place.
And you had mentioned to me at one point that you think that the name might not actually be Japanese.
Exactly. So some scholars or researchers studied, and then actually the Zentoh, the name has origins with the Jewish. So it's very interesting.
Yeah.
We don't have like exact record about it, but we have some traces, which is like my family has a patent to sell the salt.
That's right.
And we don't know why my ancestors got that patent. One of the very, very few people in Japan who have the right to sell the salt. So the salt stones and Shintoism is very much connected in Nishinomiya with the Jewish. We have so much ceremonies in common. We have so many names or the festivals, the rituals, so much in common between the Shintoism and then Jewish.
Really? Are there other names that have been sort of Romanized from Jewish name into Japanese as well that you know of?
Yes. One is Hata, one is Urabe, one is Zentoh, and then there are a few that researchers has been finding about. All the names which is like a Yama, Kawa, Ta, which means mountain, rivers, and then field related to the nature.
Yes.
They think they support they are originated in Japanese name. I mean in Japan.
Yes.
Yes.
But then
many times the Buddhist monks name the family names when the koseki system started. It's like a registration system started.
That's right, like birth certificates and things like that. But you're saying Kawa and Yama, these like mountain, river, their origin may be from Israel and Jewish, or it's from
Japan.
It's definitely from Japan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then there's this kind of mystery around your family's name and how it actually was translated into Japanese. That's very interesting about salt. I mean, that's almost like getting the patent or the right to sell air or water. Because everybody needs this, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a heck of a story there. And you said, I remember at one point that you guys traced back about 7 generations.
I'm 11th.
You're 11th. 11 generations
Yes.
of people of the salt.
Yes.
So you're literally the salt of the earth.
Yes.
Nice. So, I've noticed that you have a lot of reoccurring kind of moments with spirituality, both in your personal life, but also in your work life. Does your mother keep certain spiritual practices? If so, how were they worked into your daily life?
Okay. I grew up in a 4-generation family, which means me and my sister and my parents and my mom's parents
Grandparents,
and my mom's mom. So it's all maternal lineage living together in the same house. So my great-grandmom practiced lots of Buddhism rituals, but she used the Buddhism as in order to respect our ancestors. So, for example, like when we decide about if we sell the land or not, we ask to the ancestors. And we also make prayers for the good luck or protection to the ancestors. So in my daily life, it's always like ancestors is always coming to our decision making or our daily life. Our first scoop of the rice, which we cook every day, is dedicated to the ancestors first. Or any gift that we got, like a cookie box or whatever, we first one is dedicated to the ancestors. So it's always ancestors is the best. Plus, there are many tricks and then magics and then some rituals. Like if you lose key, and then you're devastated and you look for everywhere and you can't
like
find
the key to your house, your car.
There's a trick that we do in the kitchen and it appears.
Really?
All the time, yes.
And are you allowed to tell this magic trick?
I have helped friends a couple times, but we shouldn't use so much.
You shouldn't tell other people like publicly what the magic is.
No, we don't use that power so often.
There's a saying. I think it's like a good magician never tells their trick.
Right,
So
right.
I
Well,
guess you have to...
I said trick, but it's like more like a small omaginai, which is like a small prayer. Okay,
Yeah.
please, like a god of the kitchen or god of the fire.
Right.
We ask for help, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So there are certain gods.
So you're more like, oh my God, where are my keys?
We have 8 million gods in Japan.
Yeah.
But within the household, that we have like a household shrine for the Buddhism, of course,
That's
and
right.
then the household altar for the Shintoism, but also like a household altar for the fire god. And then, and then when we move the house, we put some stones or sand from the certain shrine and then put certain places, or when you do some examination, or when you do some, or let's say trial or court cases, whatever, there are certain gods that can help you as well.
Wow.
Yeah, they are public.
And there are like thousands of gods, yeah?
Yeah, they say 8 million, which is many in Japanese language. Like we have, we call yaoyorozu, which means many. So we consider the souls, obtained by any products or any animals,
That's
any,
right.
yes. So
which is kind of why when you see anime, like almost everything talks. The sink is talking, the animals are talking, the spoon is talking.
Yes, like we living in animism backgrounds, and yes, we believe in those. But it's like a universal point of view. It's pretty different and connected to the nature.
So growing up in a household with that much strong female energy must have had a big impact on you. I'm curious. I do recall actually the feminine energy in your family being so strong at one point that the ladies in your family had actually influenced the men to change their last names to your last name. Is that correct?
Well, it's not influence, but in order to succeed my family name, well, in Japan, you cannot keep both names. Like a Japanese legal system doesn't allow both people to have each name. So we have to choose one.
Yeah.
So in order to succeed my family, which happened to have like girls all the time.
Right.
So we ask the boy to change their name into ours. Like, I mean, the groom.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd never heard of that. Does that happen often?
Traditionally, well, you can trace back to the many years ago, but when the ES system, which is a household, is a one unit, which is the strongest in Japanese culture. It has been pretty much male dominant culture in Japan. So right now it's not that common. Like more than 95% of the couple, they choose the husband's name.
That's right.
So we are very much. It's not typical.
Yes.
It's pretty unusual.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's through other generations. But it happens sometimes. One family cannot find any, the male children, so that they have to keep the land or family name or family grave. So sometimes the husband changed to the wife, or the child changed to the grandma's name, the mother's name, or
Very
there
interesting.
are ways to do that as well.
Yeah, I hear you.
But my family has been through other generations. So many women, only women are born in my families. Yes.
Wow. Given what you have said, it's pretty well known that there is a strong kind of dynamic between men and women in Japan in terms of the roles, right? The household roles, the relational roles. How has it been growing up in a very strong female-centric household? How has that affected you in your kind of line of work, in your career as a TV producer and a film producer?
Yes, when I look back at my family, like all the decision making were made by my mom or my great-grandma and then my great-grandmother was so respectful of everyone. And then my grandma was running a kindergarten, so she has her own business. So my mom was succeeding the family business, which is like keeping the ancestors' land from my great-grandma. So I have been witnessing so many decision making were made by women. And then my father or my grandfather worked for a company outside of the family. So, yes, I have been influenced by all the women in my family. And then I feel that I went to the all women's school. So many women in my chats, until I graduated from the university, all women. So, but I feel that I didn't have to think about boys' point of view. I didn't have to care about how to behave in front of the boys or society. I didn't have to aware or pay too much attention towards, women should walk 3 steps after the man or so I think that I became very independent and then very much opinionated as well. Yes. So
So
I think I'm too strong for the regular Japanese guys.
I could see that. So rather than trying to balance, the dynamics of social, tradition, you kind of just went forward and did your own thing, and has that? Do you feel that's been part of your reason for success?
Oh wow, sure.
Yeah,
Why not? Yes, I didn't think twice about trying. I didn't think twice about going abroad or I shouldn't do this because maybe I shouldn't get married by certain age or I never thought about that. I wanted to make good use of my life and my legs, and then I was very healthy, and yes, in a way, yes.
Yeah, I think on the topic of being kind of brave and being adventurous and being able to go against what the traditions or the norms are, it's been a very interesting run for you. In your college years, you flew off to San Francisco. You rode motorcycles. You lived in the Castro. You met people from all over the world. You lived a life of a UN volunteer through your husband's stationing, and you lived through Africa. You lived in Europe. You traveled through Europe. You've been many places around the world, many countries. What drew you towards studying Italian, Spanish, and other languages at a high level?
I haven't been to any overseas until I was 14. And I haven't studied anything about English until 12. So I was a very domestic girl living in a domestic household in Japan.
Sure.
But when I had a friend who is my mom's friend's daughter, she went to Paris when she was 12 to learn French. And it opened my eyes. Oh, I can do that as well. Like I also want to see the other worlds. And also I was always thinking about what is happiness for me? What is the right for me? Because I grew up in a 4-generation family. So my great-grandma has a different sense of value from my grandma or my my parents so all the curfew a different time. My grandma says women cannot go outside after 6. But my parents say it's okay to come back home at 8. Or, they say you have to come back by 5, and then my parents say it's okay to until 8. Or my parents are very strict, but my grandparents are stricter. Plus, what to wear. You cannot wear jeans with holes. There are so many rules or opinions in my family. So I was like, oh, come on, there's no one rule. There's no one right answer in this world. So through adolescence, I was wondering, I want to make my own rules. No, it's not rules, but I want to make my own happiness, right? What is happiness? And I started to realize, having conversation with people from other cultures are so inspiring.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like something wrong in Japan is totally right or okay in other countries or other cultures or other, other occasions. So I started like it being interested in like learning English first. And then I got exam of the American Field Service, which sends high school students to many different countries and cultures. So, long story short, I went to Venezuela when I was 16. So I ended up not going to the English-speaking culture, but it was a part of my choice was like I wanted to do some very unique experience because many Japanese students at that time went to America or New Zealand or England or Canada or English speaking culture. So I didn't want to repeat what they have already done.
Sure.
So I wanted to do something unknown.
Yeah.
So, AFS helped. It's like a organized, and then Ministry of Education supported the system. So
AFS.
AFS.
What was that?
American Field Service.
Okay.
And then which was started during World War II when the nurses helped all the wounded soldiers. No matter what nationality they are, no matter what culture they are. So they are the people who started this AFS, believing that when the kids are so young, like 16, 17, before they create their own sense of value so firmly, they should know about the different cultures so that they can respect its only differences. It's not good or bad.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I went to Venezuela, living with the Venezuelan family, and then I went to Venezuelan school, and then eating Venezuelan food, and then it's like a Catholic family-oriented culture, and loving amigos y familias, and then I pretty much got that Latino culture. I mean, so deep in my heart, and then also it opened my eyes to the nature. It was such an amazing culture and then amazing nature surrounding the whole our life, daily life.
Right.
Yeah. So it was like my opening eyes towards totally different culture. Then I started wanting to study intercultural communication as like my lifetime learning, like my life study. Yeah. So when I was in college, I was majoring in psychology in a women's university, but I wanted to continue my studies in cross-cultural communication.
Right.
So I went to San Francisco. Then I met a filmmaker called Lee Man-wha, and then that was depicting the interracial conflict and then understanding. So it was really powerful. So I learned the power of the film so that anyone can re-experience or experience through the film can live or can understand the different people's lives.
Sure.
Very like visually, and then the sound, and then so I was fascinated by this amazing method of the filming. So then I started intern in San Francisco, and then my career started from there.
Yeah, and I've always been very interested in certain people who have not only an interest but a capability to speak many languages, and I wonder if it's like some different kind of brain. Right? Maybe certain people can play one musical instrument, and some people can play many musical instruments. I think even that is maybe kind of different kind of brain. So I'm always curious, like how people start studying, and like is it a natural talent that some people can just learn many languages, or is it something special about the way they study?
Right. I thought it's just a matter of the time. It's just more you learn about the language, more you speak.
Sure.
That's it.
You make mistakes.
Yes.
You learn what to say, what not to say.
But as I learning like 5 languages, I started to understand that my brain functions differently. Depends on how far you learn, and then all the boxes in my brain is also depends on the category. So actually, I speak Spanish and English pretty fluently. I never mix, but I mix Italian, Chinese.
Oh.
Yes, very strange. But
Okay.
but talking about fluency and then easier, maybe there's some talent to study language easier. I think I got from my four-generation family. When I think about my family, my four-generation people in my family spoke different languages, different dialects, it's all Japanese, but different dialects, different tones, different age. So there are four words for chicken in my family.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
Or three words or names for the pants. Yeah.
Sure.
It's quite interesting.
Yeah. Japanese is already difficult enough to learn a standard dialect, but if you throw in 4 different dialects, I can imagine why that would sharpen your mind from a very young age. So you also have a deep passion and knowledge of cultures. And in your neighborhood here in Shinagawa, Tokyo, I recently realized there are tons of temples everywhere. It's a pretty dense area. Did that play any part in your decision to live in this area?
No, really. My husband's parents had a house here as a base. They live in the States, but they wanted to have a base, so they just chose Shinagawa, which is close to Haneda Airport.
Yeah,
but that's
central,
it.
Very central.
Very central. Yeah. But it happened to be the last the sleeping point before the people going to the Edo Castle, which is like a farmer capital.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so there are many cultures, many how do you call?
Almost like bases of different camps, right?
Side camps from any other shoguns have camps here, or there are many, many shogun families have another house here around this area. Or many aristocrats have houses around here. So there are so many histories.
I see. Yeah, it's because you were telling me the other day, just walk all the way up the mountain and you'll see one shrine. And I started to look on the map and was looking, okay, how do I get to this one shrine? Then I realized there's a lot of them, especially here, right? And as we said at the beginning of the conversation, you have a very kind of integrated. You have spirituality integrated into your life, on both on your professional life and your personal life. So I was wondering if that had anything to do with how we landed here in this neighborhood.
Right. When I was living in Kenya for 6 years, I don't see any shrines. I don't see any altars.
Sure, yeah.
I see so many around here. So I always remind me of the spirituality protecting me.
Right.
Some deity protecting me or my family. So I always, see that, and I pray. I make prayers as well. But when I don't see it, I kind of feel strange, and I feel, my health is not that tuned if I don't make prayers in daily life.
That's an important point. The brain is a muscle, right? And anything you work on, you need to rest.
That's true. Yes.
And meditation, I think, can be related to that kind of brain rest. Prayer is a little bit different because maybe there's some kind of intention. You're dreaming or wishing or hoping or hoping for some outcome. But both of them, I think, are very important to find a quiet time in your life to either reflect on what's happened or recover from what's happened and prepare for what's coming next. Speaking of preparation, you've been called a fixer and a producer for the late, great Anthony Bourdain, the 2020 Olympic Games in Tokyo, and a number of other commercial projects from TV, documentary, and film. Your specialty seems to be being a bridge for international projects and productions coming into Japan. So that being said, as someone who has a great interest and probably more knowledge than most average Japanese people about Japanese historical culture, do you have a standard process when you start studying and preparing for a project? Like, for example, when Anthony Bourdain's was coming to Japan, he wanted to see certain restaurants or go to certain places.
Octopus and cheese. You eat these things really hot too, right?
So how do you prepare for
okay, okay. Well, Tony, Tony's case, he was so busy.
Yeah.
Well, we started when he was not that famous.
That's right. Yeah.
So only Lydia, Chris, the producers, and then Tony and me. Only
Right.
4 people was filming, and then we didn't have any budget, so we started from very small hotels, and then we booked restaurants, and I chose restaurants for everyone.
Yeah.
I mean the productions. But later on, he was so busy, so that he calls me, and then production calls me and then says, "Okay, we only have these dates in Japan. What can we do?"
Right.
Yeah. So I say, "Well, don't come to Obon holiday. It's a spiritual holiday. Everybody's so busy going home. Everything expensive, and everybody have to return to the houses where they were born. So all the traffic is crazy, and then but then say no, it's only time as we can do." So I say, okay, then let's do Obon.
Wow.
Right? We shoot that whole notion of Obon and the whole spirituality and Obon dance and Obon feast and Obon food, and then where the spirit's coming from.
Yeah.
And where spirit is returning.
Right.
And we can talk about all the connection with the people and then mountains, and then life comes from mountain and return to the mountains. But twice a year, the ancestral spirits coming to the family.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So then I start to research about that, and then I don't research on the internet. Well, I
Right.
do about the background, but
In the early
it's
days of
more-
Anthony Bourdain, maybe there wasn't even Google yet, right? I don't know if there
Oh,
was.
true. Yeah. So somehow we are using so many faxes, but no, we actually word of mouth. I have network of the people that's
Just calling and asking.
calling friends, because if you go to the government or if you go to the certain then it's like a top down, or then it becomes boring. It's not authentic because this guy is more important than this guy, or they have group of people who no, I don't want to be outside. They have enryo, like Japanese people do the enryo, which is trying to be modest, but in a way it's all the important things, or all the jewels of the Japanese culture is kind of hidden because they are modest, right?
Right.
So my point, my work is to pull out really important things, or should be spotlighted, something that's spotlighted in Japanese culture, or anything hidden, but is so important in the Japanese society. So that's why I use my friends network, and then actually I heard something, and I go back to the people, and then go there, and I also go there to meet and then build a relationship, and then drink tea, and then that's how it becomes a very, very authentic, because they trust me.
Sure.
So once the Japanese people trust, and they open everything, so the trust is the key. So if I come up, because you're famous, or because this is famous restaurant, no, it's you really have to build a trust with the owner or chefs or the people or house family members. Then they open the house, they welcome us to their living room, and then after the shooting we keep drinking with the people. Yeah, so that's how we started, and how we built a relationship with Tony and the production people, and then they liked my style, because we can go somewhere that we cannot go.
Yeah, for sure.
As a tourist.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's how he got the name Parts Unknown, right? And going to places where nobody gets to see.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we started for cook store, and then no reservations.
That's right.
Yeah. But we did everything very, very, piling up, building up small information to information. Yeah. And also the luck. Sometimes, producer says, "Oh, do you have any interesting sushi restaurant near here? Because we need one more sequence."
Right.
And then I use my connections. Yes.
The connections and the Google in your brain.
Yeah. It doesn't come up with the Google map or.
Right.
Yeah.
That is fascinating. The whole idea of how to prepare. Do you think that nowadays you've got a lot more? You have a lot more access. You have internet. You have a lot of businesses have social media. They have websites. Is the process of researching for a project still similar today as it was at the beginning of your career? Or?
I keep the same. Use my own network, my own, and also by studying together with a producer or writer from the other countries or cultures, we'll build up together. So I tend to pull out what's their interest or what their themes, and I bring really authentic a backgrounds, culture, or history or religious backgrounds, or I add, right? And then so we kind of build the story together. Otherwise, if the people from other culture or country, if they already have some iconic style or ideal image of Japan or some stereotypical style of Japan, then story doesn't really evolve. Authenticity to the authenticity. So yes, I always try to give more stories and more stories so that we can build interesting story together.
It sounds very personalized. Yeah, that's a great way to work.
Yes, very personalized, and then also lots of talking. We talked, we visit. I visit beforehand. I visit to the person and I talk so much.
Sure.
So that's it's they once we build a trust. They can talk about their childhood and they're talking about their families, and there's so many interesting stories coming up from anyone.
Right.
Yeah.
So you spoke about how a lot of people have certain image or expectation when they come to Japan. One of the things I didn't expect until I started working with you is actually that there is this reoccurring theme about cleansing in spirituality in Japan. We did the project called Into the Light, where we went to the shrine, and they did a Shinto prayer about cleansing their spirit and their soul. There was during one of the episodes you did with Anthony Bourdain, you brought him to I believe it was Nagano Prefecture as well, and you brought him to a freezing cold waterfall. Takijo. And he had to jump in this freezing waterfall in order to cleanse his spirit, his soul, and obviously wake up his energy. Why is there this relationship and reoccurrence of the idea of cleansing in Japanese spirituality? Our Japanese
it's a lot
dirty.
to do with
They have a lot of dirty thoughts. What's the cleansing?
Yes.
What's the story behind that?
Yes, it's a lot to do with Shintoism as well. It's a teaching. You have to clean yourself to be polite. To the other people, you have to clean yourself. So that's people we don't bother other people. That's one teaching of
That's
Zen.
so courteous,
Zen as well.
Yeah.
But also purification is a very important part of the Japanese culture. And then a rebirth. It's always it's it's not reincarnation, but the life comes and goes always, right? So it's the same as us. It's we always have to rejuvenate, restart, and then it's like a rebirth. Yeah. So purification is always the key. Every twice a year we purificate. We can purificate ourselves. Into the Light is one of those two occasions in Japan. And then the cleanliness. Yes, it's a lot to do with Zen. So we love, of course, a sauna, and then the cleansing culture, or a bathing culture is big in Japan. But sauna is very much boom now, but it's traced back to 1,000 years ago in Japan. That's we had a steam bath, or iwaburo, or kamaburo, or mushiburo. And that's also connected to the Zen as well.
So I guess it's very interesting that there's a cleansing both of the internal, your spirit and your inside, as well as your outside. Perhaps that's one of the reasons why Japan is so pristine. Everywhere you go, it's so clean. Right? Everybody's thinking about it.
Yeah. That's what many people want to hear, right? Why Japan is clean? Why Japan is polite? Why Japan is...
Oh, so a lot of people want to know about why Japan is clean and polite.
And polite.
Did you ever see a relationship between, say, the reason why Christians or Catholics may go into confession and they confess their sins and they kind of clear their conscience, clear their spirit, clear their soul, and perhaps a relationship between that and what these Shinto kind of prayers of clarification is? Do you see a relationship there?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, in a way, like it's a universal thing. If you think you are dirty, you want to clean. You want to, you want to clean yourself, right?
Right.
Yeah, but Christianity, I think the Christianity is more like the promise with the God. That's if you break the promise, then you get punished. And then also like if you are dirty, then you go to hell, or I don't know. Well, I cannot explain, I cannot represent Christianity well. But the Japanese notion of the cleanliness is more like more with the society.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a shame to be dirty. It's a shame. It's like it's not good for other people if you are dirty.
Right. It's very considerate
right.
of the collective of society.
Right.
That's very fascinating. That's very interesting.
But like yes, Shintoism and Buddhism is 2 years. But Shintoism is more like you go relax and enjoy life. It's like about the Shintoism.
Right.
Like you should be happy because I'm happy, and I should be happy because you're happy, and everybody should be happy. And then let's drink sake and eat well, and then let's make a lot of babies, and that's a prosperity.
Wow.
Yeah,
just harmony as well. I see with
yes,
nature and
there's no doctrine. You are welcome. Anyone is welcome.
Wow.
All the lives or animals or anything, life or nature is connected.
For a sector of spirituality as free as Shinto is, they sure have very kind of official clothing. Right? You would think if it's like free and do whatever, like it would be more like hippies, right? Like going to Woodstock and get naked and they wear very specific hats, uniforms, and scroll to read, and
that's true.
It's very structured.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, at a certain time, of course, the institution formed. The style to be respected.
Yeah.
But old Shinto, like a Koshinto, like older Japanese ancient Shinto is free.
Wow.
Like a really, really free.
Yeah. Has anybody made a movie about this this period of time and that kind of freedom?
Oh, it's always there in us, I guess. Yeah, you go to the Shinto shrine, there's drinking party within the shrine, the premises.
And concerts and
like it's free. It's basically you don't differentiate other people, other animals, or other plants, or we are one.
For sure.
Yeah, that's a belief or notion. That's why like you have to respect others as if you yourself. Yeah. So I think that's why the Japanese people are good with the teamwork, and also that's a lot to do with the geography, which is like a rice cultivating culture. So the rice is very fragile. So you cannot take care of your own field by yourself. So you have to collaborate with other people in the village. That's why like you don't want to make a problem with other people, because you have to help each other to survive.
You're going to see each other.
It's called collective culture.
Right, of course, of course. Speaking of collectives, there are many different styles of leadership and management. the president of the United States, Theodore Roosevelt, once said, "Speak softly and carry a big stick." Right? For his style of leadership. It's not what you say, but it's the potential behind what could happen to you, if you don't follow the leadership. Right? You often work with, bigger groups of crew, camera, talent. Are there any tips that you can give our listeners from how you've improved your leadership and management efficiency with groups of people over the years?
In my career, it's many times sometimes it's only me and then people from other countries.
That's right.
Or cultures.
Yeah.
So I have to take control about my own culture, and I have to take control about our politeness, because once we are polite, they open up. They let us shoot everything.
Right.
Yes.
Right,
so I think that's the key is like communication. Like it's not like, okay, we are different. It's okay to be different. Sure. Let's be free. It's not. Sometimes there are certain rules that I do some instruction beforehand, like wearing white socks before going to the tatami room. Any small tips, or
So
bring
that's good or bad?
souvenir. Oh, it's good.
Okay.
Well, basically new socks.
New socks.
Before going to somebody's house.
Yes.
Yes? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, those things.
Again, cleanliness.
Yes. Yeah, so once you show that kind of respect, then they are like, okay, just shoot whatever you want, right? Wow. Then that gives a lot of freedom. So in order to make a freedom, like that kind of communication is the key. So once I give them tips, then it's a really, really powerful method. Yes.
Yeah, I remember you were saying at a certain point you were considering even writing a book about, how to actually do the kind of job you're doing, or maybe even teach a class about, how new, like up and coming producers can learn how to structure the environment for shooting, a production. Do you have a certain process that maybe helps you prepare? Like, do you have a list of things that you always want to make sure you prepare for each production?
Yes. I have been building up some like a cultural list, cultural notes.
New socks. Right.
Yeah, like cultural things, and then also like but that's kind of thing that's I don't give before they come. It's more like a meeting in person, like a building relationship as a team as well.
Sure.
Yeah,
sure.
And then we can always like enjoy the shooting. Like it's really important to make them feel comfortable with a good sleep and then fed well, and then drink a lot of water, hydrate, and then safeties, and then always that the van comes on time. They're waiting for you. So like you really have to know the small detail of the station. You don't want to park the car. Stop the car in the wrong exit or entrance. Yeah. So that you have to walk with lots of gears.
Right.
Like those logistics really matters to make the production very comfortable.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
So that yes, lots of time. It's about human communication. It's about laughing together, making jokes. Yeah. Yes. And we make jokes about the Japanese culture sometimes in order to understand. Yes, but that's how we understand. And I always, it's not making fun of it. We make jokes about this like a conflict. Yes, because there always conflict. And then we really have to enjoy that because sometimes, why? Or, we didn't want to do this, or we wanted to do this. Oh, we have to do this in order to do this. Right? Yeah. Right. So there are many things that, we have to do. But in the end, as, I try to give the opportunity for us to learn. And many times it becomes part of the film. Yeah, giving business card, it's just taking so much time and we are wasting so much time. However, sometimes it becomes a sequence.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah.
It's, I've always noticed that the rules in Japan, there are many rules of conversation, of etiquette, of spirit and religion, and hierarchical order in business, and but when you think about it, or if you study it, there's almost always a reason for every rule. So
Yes,
then I
exactly.
feel more comfortable actually when I come to Japan, because you don't have to ask why. Because if you do, you'll get a good reason, right? And that
Right.
makes you comfortable. So then
Right.
eventually you just don't even ask, like, oh, why do you have to
Really?
wear? Yeah. I kind of stop after a while.
Oh, really?
Because I trust that
Yes,
everybody
that's a good
everybody
attitude as
has
well.
thought through a lot of different possible
Yes.
outcomes, and this is probably the best outcome and the best way to get to that outcome.
Yeah.
You carefully measure. Okay, here's
Right.
the point you want to go. Okay, then
Right.
go here, and here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's great that we communicate well.
Yeah.
That's so we know the goal.
Yes.
We know the final outcome should be the best.
Yeah.
And then if you have the trust, they drink tea, they stamp, and then yes.
Exactly. So, in a creative career like the ones that we have, there's a lot of talk about reinventing yourself and or finding your next kind of move in your creative life, in your creative career. For example, not a lot of people know, but the film composer Philip Glass drove a taxi in New York City until he was well into his 40s, maybe almost 45 years old, before he started to actually get enough work as a professional film composer to make a living. And then he became massively popular as this kind of cult following, very kind of interesting, unique composing style, where he had these repeating notes and things like this, like these repeating patterns. It became his signature. But for a long time, he was basically unknown, and then made that kind of career shift. When you think about going and moving your production company into a new direction, what does that look like, and what does the next chapters of your career look like to you now? I know that you had mentioned to me at certain points you thought about writing, you thought about maybe even moving to directing. Like, how does that feel now?
Yes, it's combination of two. Sometimes people approach to me and I give opportunity to write or do some direction, and then do more creative things, more rather than the fixer as well.
Right.
And also I also want to integrate the artwork from ancestors into some healing process. So there are some ideas going on about because my film profession started with finding our own happiness. Right. So me finding my own happiness. So I wanted to travel so many different countries, meeting so many people, going and then studying about the many topics. So the filming was an amazing career because they sent me to 60 different countries, meeting so many people. I stayed one month in Samoa, 1 month in Spain, 1 month in Canada, 2 months in Latin America, and then two round trip in 1 month in Peru. I got so many helicopters and air shots, and
That's right.
yeah. It opened so many doors for me by filming, but also that was my journey to find my own happiness, and then I like to help other people. It's okay to do this way. Look, these people. I wanted to deliver the message to so many people at one time. That look at these people who live this way, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you can do it, right? I didn't want the Japanese people or any other kids to be in small box because the world is so huge, and then there's so much to learn, and then there are many things that fits to this person, and then they can practice even in their own country, right? So that was my starting point to do the filming as a career. So I think if we evolve and then to the next level or different business models, I'd like to do that kind of personal consultation, health, finding own happiness, Yes. Yeah, using my knowledge or my experience or connecting to the professionals. Yeah, maybe that could be pretty interesting career.
For sure.
Including myself. Yes.
Yeah. It seems like a natural progression, actually, with your background and knowing a lot about culture in Japan and also spirituality, then being able to kind of showcase places that have a natural healing gift, right, or energy. I'm actually curious about that myself. In a place like Japan, where health and wellness, they're so often focused on in society, right? Whether it's diet, whether it's exercise, whether it's the harmony with the environment. Do you find that it's difficult to sell this kind of experience and sell this kind of concept to Japanese people and consumers? Or is it very easy? Specifically in wellness, like, for example, I know that you've consulted with different resorts that have, wellness programs or kind of, retreat programs, things like that. Is it difficult to sell that kind of program to Japanese people? Like, there's a saying, like, don't bring sand to the beach, right? Because there's already sand at the beach.
Oh, I
So if
understand.
everybody in Japan already is very conscious about wellness and health, is it hard to sell it to them because they already have enough to do on their own, or is it easy because everybody loves it?
I'm not sure about the market-wise, like business-wise.
Yeah.
However, lots like 30,000 people suicide in Japan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every
year. It's decreasing, and then now because of the corona, it's increasing as well. 25,000 people, at least, suiciding every year, which is we are so like a rich in society. We're not starving. Like education is free. We are okay country. Still, why? Right. So many pressures, right? So many stress, so many pressures. You have to be this way. If you're this gender, this age, you should be this way. So there are many social pressures in this country. So there should be ways to release that. And of course, the wellness program or food or like a relaxation, of course, that helps. But more like liberate. I think education works a lot, but I think it's time for us to liberate, our mind.
Sure.
It is okay to do this,
Yeah.
It's slowly
To
happening.
take care of yourself,
Right.
And to take your foot off the gas in order to recover from the pressure.
Right.
Yeah.
Expectation is high from society, like a social expectation.
Very high, very high. Yes. Nothing less than perfection a lot of cases. Emotion and passion, you don't study in textbook.
Yeah, like if you learn Spanish with the textbook, like beautiful is like bonito, bello, lo que sea, but when you are in that culture, ay, qué bello, preciosa, mi amor, it's like, it's more like emotions. And you learn that, right?
Yes.
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 So that's what I wanted to learn through the languages.
How to really be in touch with the emotion.
Right. Yeah.
In the moment.
Yeah. Well, Japanese people because we don't want to be the nail sticking out of the the nail sticking out. So that it's collective culture. We don't want to bother we don't want to bother others. But sometimes we kind of hide, being too modest. We don't speak out. We don't, we sometimes lose opportunity to see what we want or what I want or what I think is happy.
Sure.
Right? Yeah. So I think that's the key in Japanese society now, to know that's what I want or what you want, right? Yes. So that's why for me, learning languages opened up that kind of emotional, real emotion connected to your own feeling.
Yeah. I see what you mean. Actually, the more languages you learn, the more fluent in communicating your emotion you will become.
Right.
Because not every language can say exactly the feeling you want to say.
Learning Latin languages, Italian, Spanish.
The love languages.
I built up Portuguese as well.
Yeah.
And I built up my Italian identity in me, and then Spanish, Venezuelan identity in me.
Yeah.
Sometimes it wants to come up if I oppress too much.
Oh.
But that's a door to find my own feeling and emotions and what I really feel excited about.
Yeah. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
joking, humor, everything's different in different languages as well.
Right.
For sure.
So I think that's like my company or myself next if we go ahead, I would like to open that kind of emotional connections to the people.
Sure.
Not only by languages, but also
so important,
different, there are different ways.
We're very removed from one another nowadays. We're, staring at screens. We're, there's even universities now where people are sitting in the same room and everybody's on Zoom to communicate. And it's just really, there's a lot of barriers that need to be figured out again.
I understand.
We need to reset. With Upgrade Me, I wanted to be able to share inspiring stories and kind of tricks of the trade from people who have, made success and made something of themselves. Whether that be, the sacrifices that they made or the kind of secrets or tricks that they found out in order to be more efficient or, to be more effective. However, one of the things that actually also makes us successful and able to upgrade ourselves is persevering and actually coming through the tough times better than before. And so I've been asking different people to share a story about growing and improving themselves and graduating past tough points in their life. Perhaps entertaining as well. So what is one nightmare story that you can tell about the early part of your career that may inspire people either to laugh or to persevere with their dream? Like to carry on through the tough times and
Atravesiamo.
See.
Like going through.
Exactly, the adversity, the difficulty, to go past the difficulty. For example, I told a story when we were sitting with Minami. I told a story. There's a bar in New York City called the C Note. And in English, C Note means $100 bill. And this place was ironic to say the least because nobody ever made $100 by playing music in the C Note live bar. It was always like you made $1 or like $3. Yeah, we would play as a band, with our classmates in college, and they would put a bucket out and everybody would give a tip, throughout the night. And I remember we had like 8 guys on stage and we would play our whole night and play our hearts out, and we practiced so hard to get there. And at the end of the night, we checked the bucket and there was like $4. And it's not enough to even buy one beer for 8 people. Or even to go home in a taxi. But those kind of stories, we are able to look back now and laugh and say that was so crazy. Like we were so poor and so, hungry and, so ready to succeed, but we had no idea what we were doing.
なるほどね。
Yeah, so do you have a story like that that you can tell? So people coming up now, whatever their career is, maybe they know that somebody successful like you also had tough times and maybe funny times that you can laugh about now.
There are so many disaster things happening.
Yeah.
When I was working for this TV production company, I was working for IBM for six months after college. And then I was like, I didn't use my legs.
Really?
For 40 hours
so what were
week.
You doing? Sitting
I was like desk work. Yeah. I was like in like a cultural assisting and a visa application sections, like a human resource in IBM. And then I was like, my legs were worse. I would buy my leg for $2 million, whatever, if I don't have legs. I didn't have legs, right? Yeah. So I'm wasting $2 million or whatever. Like, I want to use my legs to live.
Absolutely.
So I quit and then I went back to the film world. During those production days, I hit a record of like 60 hours working straight which is like you go home, take shower, and go to the project the office again. Walk, and then you go home, take shower, and you just straight to it. It's just nightmare. It was like your brain stops working.
Yeah.
You just don't see the depth of field.
Blurry vision, tired.
And
It's everything. Yeah,
you don't come up with the words, and then
yes,
it was bad.
it's a true burnout. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that sleep is good. Like Audrey Tang also says that the key to success is sleep, and I think it's right.
Yeah.
And then so sometimes when you're early age, you just push harder and harder and more and better, and then you want to do the better, and then you are kind of in the system which allows you to do, or you are forced to do that. In that kind of environment, and you get sick. Right. So you have to really protect yourself.
They say you protect the asset, which is you are the asset. Yeah.
Right. That's one thing that's I remember, like just
early days of just burning the candle at both ends. Of course.
Yeah. なんか男女平等に人間扱いされないっていう感じ。So you are not treated as a human being, genderly equally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's another one. Maybe it'll inspire you. A story from you actually. When I was in college, I turned on the TV and I was watching, and it was the day that the Yankees won the World Series. Great day in New York. Everybody's celebrating. They held a parade down Fifth Avenue all the way down to City Hall. And Rudy Giuliani, mayor of New York, got on TV and he said, I want to congratulate this year's World Series champions, the New York Yankees. And I cannot close this ceremony without also thanking the New York Sanitation Division because they did such a beautiful job at cleaning up after the parade. And as you can see behind me, there's this pile of trash that they are planning to dispose of. And right when he pointed at this is on live TV. So I'm imagining, what is it like to be the TV crew seeing this and filming it live? And you may have a story like this, right? So he said, I'd like to thank the Sanitation Division for doing such a great job, and look at all this trash that they've cleaned up so nicely and they're ready to dispose of it. And right then, it's couldn't have been timed better. It's such a New York moment. Somebody lit on fire. Like they use a lighter or gas or something, and the huge pile of trash started burning right behind the mayor on live TV, and he couldn't do anything, and he didn't know what to say, and he couldn't explain, right? But people in New York are very mischievous and kind of always doing crazy things and like joking and maybe against the system sometimes. So somebody lit it on fire, saying this is going to be funny because the mayor's saying how good it is, but let's make it bad. So the trash pile is burning, and he just sat there on live TV and didn't say anything with a huge fire behind him for about 2 minutes, just waiting, nothing to say, because New York people are crazy and funny, right? So he just waited, and eventually they cut it, right? So I'm wondering, do you have any moments where something kind of crazy happens?
いっぱいありすぎて、もう so many.
Yeah. Well, what are some of the best ones?
長野オリンピックで
In the Nagano Olympics,
Yeah,
1998.
I was driving gold medalist.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was kind of like a very dangerous moment with snow and icy, and then
Oh, wow.
they didn't hire a proper driver.
Wow.
I was the one.
Yeah.
That was scary, and then ice.
And
Nothing happened.
Oh, you
But
survived.
also like I had one time in early time, and I had like a TV crew, and I'm rushing from one point to another, and then I had out of gas on the highway.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not like we are missing something big event,
Yeah.
but I had to take the TV crew to the different points. It's during the Nagano Olympic. So it's not only because of me, because it's the whole system.
Sure.
But then our car stopped in a highway. And then some miracle happened. And then the tow
Tow truck, yeah.
How do you say?
Tow truck.
Tow truck.
Yeah.
Just
pass by
Yeah.
with gas.
And then just 200 meters, there's a gas station. So they told us.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, there's many magic happens.
Yeah.
And then Amazon. Yeah.
The jungle?
In the jungle.
Okay.
Yeah, we are filming the Guyana Highlands, like Guyana Highlands, which is like famous. There is a famous waterfall called Angel Falls, and then we are filming all the clevers and on the helicopters, and then we are filming all the Guyana Highlands, and then the waterfalls, like above the waterfall. I'm filming like this, and then it's amazing time.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, like the camera stopped. And then the helicopter started sounding weird. And then we are like, okay, let's stop. So we, middle of nowhere in the jungle, we stopping above one huge stone in the huge Amazon jungle.
Oh my God.
And then we lost connection. We didn't restart the camera. We couldn't restart the helicopter. We couldn't start the phones,
Communications and
zero.
Really?
And then the native Amazon Yanomami people came by canoe,
Oh my gosh.
passing by,
Yeah.
and we got rescued
Where did they bring you?
to the nearest hotel,
Oh.
which is happened to be like 30 minutes, 40 minutes away
By canoe.
by canoe. It's not hotel. It's like a communication point.
Yeah.
But otherwise, who can find us in the middle of the Amazon forest? You know, I don't know. It was maybe 1 hour 1 hour to the communication point.
Yeah.
It's not hotel. It's like there's many small huts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like a lifetime moment.
Yeah.
あとは何かなキャリアでしょキャリア wise.
That is pretty disastrous. Did you have to continue and finish the shoot and go back to that place?
Oh, yes. So when we arrived to our camping site, that's everybody was so freaking out that you know, we were lost for so many hours and we didn't coming back. So, yeah, it was like they were in panic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It
who
could have been
decided
really, really bad.
that you guys were going to go back and film again to that place?
Oh, we have to finish the job. So, yeah, as long as we are safe and then sound okay, we restart.
You had to get another helicopter?
Oh, yes, of course. Yes. Wow. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, many things happens. Like, yes, like there are many mistakes. Like there are many, not mistakes. How do you say? なんかイベントないかな?
Unexpected kind of turns in the story. Right? It's an interesting idea about commitment, right? And if you came into it saying we're going to do a job and we're not leaving until we finish it successfully, that's a lesson that's worth learning for a lot of people, right? I think a lot of times people give up too easily. But that's extreme because you're risking your life and you don't know if it's going to work the second time. Like that's a crazy one. Yeah.
まあ、あとね、Jiro, the sushi Jiro,
Oh yeah.
didn't sign the release after we shot with Anthony Bourdain.
Oh wow.
That was a horrible situation
Yes.
because signing release or release form is a legal thing that I cannot change. It's not part of my work. I always waived, I always made it clear that legal documents, I don't want to deal with it.
Okay.
But I'm always the person who present the paper
I am.
or ask them for the signing. And many times it's so rude. What the lawyers say. Basically,
It's
they
too
say
strict.
you have nothing and we have everything.
Right.
Yeah. So that's okay. I said, culturally, this is not appropriate. Please change this and that and this and that. And I make it really simple Japanese and then, ask their Japanese lawyer to, prove it's fine, right? To make it shorter and then clear and a polite way.
Sure.
But that time they did a mistake, and then they changed many times, and then they had a miscommunication, and they gave me totally new release form saying this is the final one and only one. And then that was delivered from one assistant who didn't know any context, right? So that's after all those communication with the Jiro, he presented this totally brand new, crazy, rude piece of paper. And that's made the Jiro furious.
And he said no.
Yeah, no.
So how were you guys able to fix that?
Not me. It's not my work to deal with this legal thing. But eventually the production had to withdraw the final cut and re-edit.
Oh, they had to take him out.
Wow. So some people put the Jiro sequence with Tony in YouTube. So I think it's still there.
Yeah.
Out there. Right?
Right.
But sometimes we have built relationship. We have built, Jiro gave me so many sushi for free, and then during the shooting we are laughing and we're shooting, and then I provide all the sushi to all the crews because they are behind the camera, and then all the lights people, sound people, all the technical staff. They got to eat sushi, right? So it was so much fun. But
awesome.
One piece of paper, so rude,
Changed
legal
everything.
paper, really made him furious. Yeah. But it was so it's a system, that's legally they have to get the release form.
Sure.
But I called them, I spoke with them, I tried to convince, that culturally this is not appropriate. I tried to convince. One time they are really busy and I couldn't return the phone call. There are many things happen. But I guess I ended up protecting the culture. I ended up respecting the culture. In the end, the client has power. Yeah. Client is the best people. I mean, client is the one that I have to, really respect, right? So I cannot really, it was like a very, very sad moment that I couldn't help my clients. I couldn't force Jiro to sign the release form.
Of course not, yeah.
Right? Yeah, that was a really bad moment. Right? Yeah, the trust was broken because of the one piece of paper.
Yeah.
After the shooting.
Right.
Professionally,
yes.
Yeah, we thought about many ways. Maybe producer fly to apologize, and we discussed so many things, right? But I think that's maybe I could have done this better. Yeah, when I look back, me apologizing or me apologizing on the floor. Right?
Wow.
Whatever. Like a showing. Of course I brought a sweet and apologize, right?
Yeah.
But there are people who is really stubborn and they don't care about the production.
Has that changed the way that you do that you relate to the people you work with as a result?
Yeah, well, one thing is you have to make it very clear that I'm not doing part of the legal things because I cannot change, right? However, we should have plan B or plan C about any. So maybe I could have write my own Japanese words, or maybe I could have prepared another form that they can easily sign for the first place. Yeah. Right? Yeah, and then they choose. This is the only release that they can provide, and you choose. Right.
Sure.
Yeah. But we usually present the release before we film, right?
That's right.
Yeah. We always do that, and then
that's the point. Yeah.
Yeah, but
get things settled before
somehow the production waited until the end. Yeah. Yeah.
I see. Yeah. No, that's probably a good point to put it in the preparation instead of thinking about it when it's too late.
Yeah. You always have to have the plan B. When you say to clients, sorry, we didn't do this, but we have this, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they say, prepare for the worst, but hope for the best.
Right. My ancestor, one of my great father of my father's side, Katsunosuke Yamamoto. There's a statue in Wakayama Prefecture, but he helped the community with studying the commerce, like a new, like a commercial products.
Sure.
And he says like 手回しせねば雨が降る, which means if you are not prepared, there will be rain. So, yeah, I have to keep it in mind all the time.
I like that.
Prepared.
That's an amazing way to close out. You know, if you are not prepared, then you better be prepared for the rain. You better be ready for it to rain. And when it rains, it pours. Well, thank you, Michiko, for being on today with Upgrade Me. And it has been a pleasure, as always, to to hear your stories and to feel your spirit. And you are such a hard worker and someone who has brought so much value to the entertainment and media industry over the years. And I look forward to what you continue to do in the future on your next endeavors.
ありがとうございます。これからもよろしくお願いします。
Hey guys, what did you think of that? Michiko is a super inspiring lady, right? What other questions would you like to ask her? Throw them in the comments and I'll get them over to her and we'll get you guys an answer. Also, let me know who you think you'd like to see on our show and we'll do our best, as always, to rope them into a future episode. Thanks again for watching and keep on upgrading. We're just getting rolling with season 2. Let's get it.